You're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
4 seconds left. In front. Happy moment. The Tampa Bay Lightning have won the first Stanley Cup. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Stanley Cup. Lightning strikes twice. The Tampa Bay Lightning win their second straight Stanley Cup.
Great start to the show. I was looking like the Lightning against the Panthers out there for a little bit for the start of that show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RBLR Lightning. As always, my name is Jake Ricker. Alongside me, it's Joe Zamataro and Matt Gannon. Guys, welcome back to the show. We got an action-packed episode coming up. Be updating you guys on some of the injuries, talking about the new third jerseys the Lightning officially released, looking at some game recaps, and so much more. So be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on episodes just like this one. But first and foremost, guys, how you doing today?
Doing well. It is a pretty beautiful day out today, considering what a crappy weekend it was. And, I'm looking forward to talking about some exciting things with the Wolves.
And what a way to save the intro there, Jake. That was great. No, again, a great day after, crappy weekend. And despite, objectively a good week of Lightning hockey, recency bias has got us a little bit down. But again, we're all chomping at the bit to dig into this.
So quickly, just an update on the injuries, and then we'll get that Panthers game kind of out of the way and then talk about all the fun stuff that we've had this week. Because overall, it was a great week for the Lightning, which we'll get into. So the only really injury news is Tanner Jeannot. Nick Paul did suffer a apparent injury late in the third period of one of the games, but he came back in the next game. He's been practicing. Looks like he's all good to go there. Tanner Jeannot, though, he suffered another injury in that Boston game where he got injured. First game back, just like Mikhail Sergachev, although not nearly as brutal as Sergachev's was, but he's out for at least the next week at the time of the injury. So still no official timetable on Jeannot, but he's going to be out for at least the next couple of games. So Lightning with some bad luck on the injury side of things, especially when it comes to players returning from injury and then getting hurt again, which you just hate to see. It's so unfortunate for the guys and just frustrating, I know, for them. But
you got to feel for Jeannot too. I mean, that he got injured against Boston, comes back in and gets hurt in the game with Boston as well. And man, someone I'd really like to see come back, because he really changes the way some other players play on our team when they've got the ability to take additional liberties, since he's the big enforcer on the ice.
He, carries quite the presence with him. Everybody in the league knows what he is capable of, with or without the gloves on. Like, everybody knows. They know his number. But does anybody know what took Jeannot out in that in this Boston game? I didn't see anything that there no replays or anything that indicated.
I haven't seen anything personally, and of course they won't say.
Yeah, from what I heard, it may have re-aggravated the original injury. And when it comes to someone like Paul going out halfway through a game, you kind of always figure it's either cramps or craps, since he only missed the rest of it and came back on the next one.
And unfortunately, you're not going to get much out of the Lightning, especially or in the NHL at anybody at this, especially this time of year. So we'll wait and find out officially maybe what it is at the end of the year. But right now, Noah's out, and hopefully he'll be back soon for the Lightning. All right, let's get this Panthers game out of the way. It was the most recent one. We got to talk about it just quickly, though. Lightning lose 9-2 to the Florida Panthers. And the reason we kind of want to do this at the beginning, not only just to get out of the way, but, guys, I think we all are on the same page on this. This was kind of just, it felt like one of those throwaway kinds of games. Listen, Lightning played terrible. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And a lot of credit goes to the Panthers. They played a great game. They capitalized on all their chances. They did everything they needed to. But these games happen. The Lightning beat a couple of teams big earlier. We just lost to the Islanders in a big way. We lost to the Panthers 9-3 just a couple of years ago before we swept them in the playoffs. So in the grand scheme of things, does it really mean anything? Probably not. There's definitely some things you got to look at and you want to fix from this game, but just kind of an unfortunate damper on what was a really great week for the Lightning.
Who wants it? I guess I'll go. This game drove me nuts. But again, I wouldn't look too deep into it. Yeah, it is a black eye on this record, 9-2. It stands out, but There's plenty of good teams that always get beat down. Like again, looking back to the Carolina game earlier this year, we beat them 8-2 on, however many shots in the teens or something like that. Something crazy. It happens. And look where Carolina's at right now. It happens to every team. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it even sucks more that it was at home, but I just got no other words than it happens. I don't know what went wrong or, who to blame, who to point fingers at other than the collective group.
I say that's the beautiful thing about a loss like this is it wasn't one thing. It was just like everything. The fact that there was multiple pucks going in our own net that hit our players. The fact that the Panthers absolutely capitalized on what seemed like any opportunity they got. They were connected on passes that should be covered, and that maybe there was a mistake made. There was some fluke goals that went in too, especially towards the end. It was it was like a game that and that was one of the first times ever Vasi was chased from the net when it was 6-2 at the time, 6-1, 6-1, and it's a throwaway game. You can't take anything away from it because it's just such a fluke that it's not like they were trying and really in the game and just weren't able to get it together. It's just everything went wrong, which makes it a little bit easier to just throw it in the trash, walk away, and look at the good that they did this week and know that that performance isn't going to happen again. So why even waste too much time on it any more than we already have?
And you can chalk it up to the annual, post All-Star break Panthers beatdown. It seems like it happens every year. It might have just been last year, but I hope it doesn't turn into a theme or anything like that. But I do give the Panthers a lot of credit. They played a fantastic game. Panthers fans, I'll give them some credit too. They actually showed up and showed out in Amalie Arena for a bit. There were a lot, and they're kind of starting to creep into Amalie Arena. Yeah. I think we're all used to it with Wings fans and Leafs fans and Rangers fans are all coming down here. It's kind of weird, fans coming from the South crowd in the building. Still kind of strange that they can't do it in their own building, but whatever.
Hey, everybody just loves to come down to Tampa, enjoy down here the amazing weather, amazing hockey we got right now, and look at the amazing jerseys that have been displayed out there on the ice as well. So, guys, we talked about this a couple of times. When the leagues were first out, we looked at them, we got our thoughts on the jerseys. And I think all of us, myself especially, were not very fond of them. When I saw the leaks, I wasn't excited about these jerseys. I didn't think they were going to look great. And Joe, I think you said this in our chat, jerseys always look different on the ice, but holy cow, I think the Lightning hit this one out of the ballpark. Like, they look a lot better in person and on the ice than I thought they were going to. I'm really impressed. Now, I know my internet has gone to crap and my screen kind of looks like a little bit potato right now, but look, I got one right here with me that I want to throw up. These guys, they did a fantastic job on these jerseys. I love the stripes. The logo is still not my favorite, but overall, really well done. And the graphics that they use for during the game, I think they look fantastic. I love the whole theme that they did. The rest of the merchandise, Joe, I see you got a hat on right now as well. I thought everything was really, really well done. And I know Bolts Nation loved them because I was talking to some of the people at the arena when I went and got my own jersey. They're selling out. They're selling like hotcakes right now. So, Joe, I know you got yourself some merch over there. What do you think about the new third jerseys?
Yeah, seeing them in person, they look even better than they do on TV. That's for sure. The store was insane. There was a line that was wrapped pretty far. Just to buy this hat, I think I had to wait almost 20 minutes in line, and it seemed like there was probably, easily 30% of the people were buying a jersey, and almost everyone that wasn't, had a jersey had a hat. The merch is going like crazy, and yeah, in person, looked really good. I like all the nuances, especially learning a little bit more about what went into the styling. It's pretty neat, all the little details that they put into these.
And what I like about the details, like you're talking about, Joe, is that they're tangible. They mean something. Like the jersey we were talking about last week, I think. who was it? Marty Brodeur designed the jerseys, or he helped design the jerseys, and every little crest on a letter or curve or something, and it meant or signified something. And I feel like they were just reaching hard. And
Marketing department got a hold of it.
yeah, exactly. And reading the details, the victory stripes, and the 04, 20, and 21 collar, like there were actual tangible things, details that you could physically see and not have to guess what does it mean or something like that.
I think that's worth taking a second, especially since Jake has it held up. I mean, we've seen in the preview how
this is the collar. We'll get the collar up first.
Yeah, in the collar, you've got the 3 cup years, each represented by a different color: black, silver, and blue, according to the year. And then if you look at the shoulder, the victory stripes, each one of the stripes is white, blue, then silver, which once again represents a different year that we won the cup.
And I think the leaks, some of the colors didn't transition perfectly, and when you see them in person, makes them feel a lot better. I didn't know they were victory stripes either. I thought they were just stripes on the jersey, but they are actually the victory stripes that come from the old jersey, which is awesome. Really well done.
Wait, so is the third stripe on the sleeve, that's a different color than the white stripe up top?
It is.
Silver.
It's hard to see sometimes.
Oh.
But it is a different color. And again, my internet's failing on me now, but I don't know if you can see. It's ever so slightly a little bit different.
And then they had the whole campaign or the video beforehand saying that we earned our stripes, and that's the whole it's pretty freaking neat considering it's an homage to the old jerseys, and then having each stripe represent a victory.
They really sold me on this. Like, again, I think everybody was all had the same reaction when the leaks first came out. We're like, what is this practice jersey? But they really delivered. It's still not a Gasparilla jersey, but they definitely have won me over. And the matte black
for a couple years.
Yes, yeah. The matte black helmets is also a very nice touch.
Very
it doesn't
nice.
contrast with the black on the jersey. It actually matches pretty well, in my opinion. And I saw a joke or something that said every police officer in Tampa loves these jerseys too. They look like the Blue Lives Matter.
Oh, geez, Matt, you.
I didn't make the joke.
Anyway, well, I mean, they are very, very nice jerseys, and I was a sucker enough to go and I went and bought one of my own. I actually have to wait until Thursday to get my brother's jerseys that I just showed, because I went and got my name and number on it as well, and they're so slammed right now that it takes like a couple of days to even get those done. So they are selling them like crazy right now. And something I should bring up too, when I was at the store talking to the very nice employees in there, I found this really interesting. I don't know if you know this, guys. The Lightning actually are not huge fans of their old history. Because I was talking to the guy, and Eureka, our producer, said this in our chat as well. He's like, I think they should put the old Florida patch logo, the one where it was Florida and then the lightning bolt over it, which is really, I think that was on the 04 jerseys. That was the shoulder patch, and use that as the shoulder patch. And I was mentioning it to this guy, and he said that the Lightning actually don't want to use any of their old logos or stuff like that. Like the reverse retros, they didn't really want to do, but they had to do them because the NHL was pushing that out for all 32 teams. Apparently, they're not big fans of that time for the Lightning and that ownership, which is understandable. Some of the ownership wasn't great at that time, but I found that really interesting that the Lightning, not big fans of the old logos and the new looks. They're trying to really stick with this new identity, even though in this one they did kind of take some of those old themes back on the jersey.
Yeah, I like that. Be forward thinking, forward looking, especially because the whole vibe that Vinnick wanted to present with this team is, with its new image, it would be a lasting like jersey and design that would be something that's almost iconic, or something where, if you think of the Toronto Maple Leafs, which obviously they look decently similar to, that's a design that hasn't changed ever. You look at the Detroit Red Wings, their designs, you could be wearing a Fedorov jersey right next to a Larkin jersey, and from the front not know which one is which. And I think that's kind of what they are still looking towards doing, is making sure that the image going forward is the legacy from when Vinnick came in and started. So references to the old stuff might be in some of it, like design elements like we saw in this, but throwing the old logos on there, I definitely can get where they're coming from, not wanting to do it at all. And they've done a pretty darn good job anytime that they have specialty jerseys like the Gasparilla one, having that logo on your hat there, Matt, when they put something new out.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and I mean even the reverse retro ones when they've had to use those old logos, I think have looked fantastic. But these look great on the ice. They've been wearing them a ton. They'll be wearing them again tonight as this recording against the Ottawa Senators, 3 games in a row, and then they'll have 3 more games next month as well. I don't know what the schedule is looking like for a couple of years in the future here. I think the NHL has a rule that you can only wear a jersey for 3 years when it comes to alternates, which is understandable. They're trying to sell jerseys and move on, but it's also kind of a bummer at the same time. But we should get lots more of these is basically what I'm trying to say. It won't be a very limited edition like the reverse retros were or anything like that. Let's talk about how the Lightning were playing, though, when they had those jerseys on the ice. Because for 2 games, they played a really, really great hockey. Starting off with the game, they got big wins and big moments. Come on, man. I'm trying to get positive vibes back going. Let's start off with the game against the Boston Bruins here. They win this one 3-2 in a shootout. Boston, obviously a top team. They were number 1 in the Atlantic Division at the time of this game. The Lightning always play some physical, hard games. We mentioned Tanner Jeannot injury, and the Lightning had to do it in a shootout, but they get the job done, getting the win and getting a huge 2 points off a really good Boston team. How are you guys feeling though watching this one?
Like you said earlier, or whoever said it in the chat earlier, like you had to have your Apple Watch on checking your heart rate. It was one of those games. It felt like a playoff game. I know it's an overused trope, but it felt like a playoff game. It was loud in that building. The fans definitely came out and showed everybody who Boston is. And man, it was a tough game from start to finish. Vasilevsky played fantastic in this game. Everybody played very, very well in this game. It was a bit of a war of attrition at times. Like it felt like there weren't going to be any more goals scored on any side. Even in that overtime, there were some great chances. This was probably, despite not scoring, this was probably the Lightning's best overtime I think I've seen them play this year. We've escaped a bit away from the early season struggles in overtime. We're not going to as many OT games, but man, they just controlled the puck. They were gassing Boston. It's a miracle they escaped that overtime, going into the shootout. But honestly, just a top to bottom good performance. Defense really stepped up when it mattered. Again, Boston played a really good game. I think they outshot us by a very good margin. But the better chances, you have to give to the Lightning, and they came up clutch when it really mattered.
And you mentioned how good the defense was, and the defense was outstanding, especially special teams. One thing that the Lightning really got lucky with is taking a bunch of penalties, and a bunch of these penalties were automatic penalties, and just you can't take dumb calls, especially against such a good team. But they got away with it. They took 6 penalties, and Boston, who is no slouch on the power play, didn't score a single power play goal. That's really great defense for the guys. Also in this game, there were a total of 67 hits, 35 for the Bolts and 32 for the Bruins. It definitely got pretty physical there. So there was, just adding to that playoff atmosphere, that you're mentioning. But again, those penalty minutes, the Lightning got really, did a really good job of killing them off. But in future games, they really have to be careful about taking that many, or they're not going to get the ability to notch up on the scoreboard. The times that the Lightning were running around, I feel like were almost direct results from, having extended times being locked in your own end from the penalty kill, and then just guys not getting as much ice time because of it. I mean, even I do want to say Chernak's goal, that was an interesting one, since we've talked about the whistle and the way things go quite a few times. I figure that's one that we should definitely visit too.
I don't know. Did you think it was a bad goal or something like that? Like,
in terms of the goalie allowing it, 100%.
Yes.
That was terrible to have squeak in. But I loved the way the officiating was played on that one.
No, yeah. Credit is credit due. They blew the whistle kind of quick, but they, which understandably they thought, some of these refs, they lose sight of the puck or whatever or not, but they went, they talked about it, they reviewed it. And obviously we're Lightning fans, we're a little bit biased here, but I think they made the right call. They really did a good job they made a call on the ice. They said, okay, hang on, let's talk about it. Puck was going in, even though the whistle blew a little quick there, and they overturned it. So it was nice to see that the system can work, even though it feels like a lot of the times it doesn't. But I agree with you, Joe. I thought they handled that very nicely.
May I go off topic real quick? Remember
Sure.
what you're going to say, Joe. And I know we already did the Florida game.
He had Old Mark on his fantasy team, didn't he?
No, I did not. No, I did not. The Florida game, we already covered it, but the goal that was allowed against Vasilevsky, I think it was the 4-1 goal for the Panthers, the one that I can't remember who the player in front, but he hit Vazzy's glove as he was making the save. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I thought that was total BS. I thought that should not have been a goal. Oh, well, whoop-de-doo. It makes the score 8-2. I know it's not a big deal, but I thought that one was a bit silly. I thought it should have been called back.
I'll have to get back to you on my opinion. I was in the building, unfortunately, taking my nephew to his first ever Lightning game.
Oh, no.
And because of that, I kind of saw it once or twice. Like they didn't really show it on the scoreboard above, and I wasn't feeling like being a glutton for punishment by rewatching the game and looking at it. But I'll take a peek at it and get back to you.
I'll say this. So they showed it a ton on the broadcast. And Matt, I agree with you. I didn't understand it at all. And I'm like, well, he clearly hit his glove. That was the opposite of the Bruins one, right? They make a call on the ice, they review it. You're thinking, okay, they're clearly going to see this just like the one in Boston. And then they didn't overturn it and we get a penalty out of it.
And they score.
Said though that the ruling from the NHL, and normally when the NHL comes out and gives an explanation of these goals, they usually just say the same thing over again and don't actually explain anything. But according to Dave Randolph on the broadcast, they said that the league said that the official rule is because Vassy's glove was outside of the paint and that's where the contact happened, outside of the crease. That's why the goal is allowed. If it would have happened in the crease, it would have been called back. And apparently that's one of the official. I don't really understand it. To me, it's still like, well, Vassy's in the crease. He's reaching out to make that save. That doesn't make any sense. But that is the official rule. And that's why it was not overturned. So I think it's another one of those, like, technically it's the right call. Is it the one that makes the most sense? No. But it sounds like technically that does work by rule.
Cool. Well, if I'm net front on the power play and I see a puck midair, I'm slashing the goalie's blocker right down to the ice.
That's all that matters.
Apparently, that's all right. I know I'm getting a little flustered about a game that ended 9-2, but this is just something I wanted to get off of my chest, I guess.
Well,
Joe,
it's understandable, and again, hey, it's again the refs, to their credit, did what they were supposed to. They were getting help from Toronto in that call. And if, that's the ruling, that's the ruling. Maybe the rule needs to change, but they did do a good job in this game against Boston. I felt like they did it by the book and did it the way they're supposed to. And the Lightning are the beneficiaries of it and get a goal on the board. And Eric Chernak as well, who gets his first goal of the season as well. So good for him to get the Lightning on the board. I felt like the Lightning kind of controlled this game for a while. I mean, they're up 2-0 early in the second period. Then Boston started to come back and obviously scored those 2 goals to tie the game. But even when Boston did tie it and they were taking all those penalties, the Lightning showed a lot of grit and were able to hold on and keep this game in control all the way until the shootout where they eventually won it. And sometimes that's just kind of what you have to do. You're not going to win every game 8-2, 7-5, completely domination for a full 60 minutes. They showed in this game that they can win these games even when things start to fall apart, which is something they had a major problem with against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoffs last year.
They also did a good job of blocking shots, which is something I said down the stretch they definitely need to improve on. They had 19 block shots, even though Boston got 38 pucks on net. They still got a lot of body in lanes, which was helping Vasi out, and continuing to be strong, give them the outside opportunities rather than golden ones right up the middle. Not to say that there weren't any. There were honestly plenty, and Vasi came up really, really big. But to keep them to the outside with the vast majority of their shots and then block the ones that are more critical is, again, showing that they're playing, at least in this game, much better defense.
And that's been the Pretty much the story for the back half of the season. The defense is really starting to get things together. I'll still take a Jeff Blashill firing any day, but we can all admit that the team is really the team, not even just the defense. The team is really starting to commit to their defense, and they're really starting to put things together. And this game was a microcosm of it in a good way.
Well, no matter what's happening in the game, from good calls to bad calls, guys, I can tell you a good call the viewers at home can make, and that's heading over to shop.rblrsports.com and check out the awesome team-inspired merch that we have from the Lightning, the Rowdies, the Rays, the Bucks. Highly recommend you head over there. Link, as always, are in the description. And the best part is, for our awesome viewers here, you guys can use code BOLTS to get 10% off your order. Again, Lightning, Rays, Bucks, Rowdies, inspired team merchandise. Be sure to head over there, shop.rblrsports.com, and check it out and get yourself some new merch to rock for the games. All right, going into the game against the Colorado Avalanche, I got to be there in attendance for this one, and this was another big game. You know, the Avalanche hadn't been playing well as of late, but they are still a very good hockey team. Obviously, they're one of the best in the NHL and a heavy hitter for the Lightning coming in. This is kind of, this whole week has been their big kind of test. Schedule's gotten a lot tougher for them, but they were up to the task in this one. This was another really fun playoff-like atmosphere, just like you said, Matt, with the one against Boston. And it was back and forth. You had two really weird goals for both teams. The one for the Lightning literally just deflecting off a point, and then the one for Colorado where Vasily wasn't able to squeeze it, and they were able to push the puck in the back of the net. But the Lightning come through late in this game and end up winning it by a final score of 6-3, another huge 2 points. And holy cow, as Lightning fans, I think you're feeling pretty good after watching these two games.
Well, this was the big matchup, too, of the NHL points leaders. This is Nikita Kucherov, and him playing the absolute best hockey in his style versus Nathan MacKinnon, who is definitely no slouch, but he got bested in the matchup. He also ate rubber really, really hard at one point too, when a puck got deflected right into his face. And I almost feel like that may have been the turning point in the game as well, where without MacKinnon being at 100%, the Avs started to slide back and slide off the scoring charts, and now that allowed the Lightning to start putting the pucks in the net more and ultimately get the win.
This game was brutal to people's faces. MacKinnon especially taking the puck off the face. He got the high stick that wasn't a high stick because it was Chernak lifting his stick up or whatever. Or no, that was something else. MacKinnon did take
that was Glendening that got hit in the face.
But MacKinnon also got high sticked as well, I want to say, later in the game, before the puck injury.
Yeah,
but,
he did.
MacKinnon, he just has the worst luck with his face injuries.
And we were talking about him last week when he face planted with Florida.
Yeah. But again, long story short, don't ever put Nikita Kucherov and Nathan MacKinnon in the same sentence again. I know Eureka's monkey paw is curling right now. It's clenching. I'm just kidding. This was a very, very, very entertaining game, just like the Boston game. Energetic. Oh, God, I see the little chat bubble. Eureka's not happy. Just a very, very entertaining game. And, yeah, it was a marquee matchup. I'm sure plenty of neutral fans who don't care about the Lightning nor the Avalanche were tuning into this game just to see these two stallions battle it out. Ultimately Kucherov ended up with the better night. He had a heck of a night, actually. He looked great, him and Hagel, with some beautiful chemistry together. And just all the right things going right. Bad bounces going off of Braden Point, ending up in the back of the net. That's a good thing for the Lightning. And yeah, there was some sloppy mistakes. There were some breakaways. There were actually a couple of breakaways. And Vasilevsky, he stood tall, especially late in the game when Colorado was trying to mount a comeback. It was a very, very entertaining game. I'd say probably one of the top 5 most entertaining games of the year for the Lightning. No slouch at all in this game.
So in that head-to-head, MacKinnon had 2 assists for a night that was a -1, and Kucherov ended up with 2 goals and an assist as a +4. And we all know that he did not want to score that empty net goal even at all.
Oh my goodness,
that was driving me crazy.
it drove me nuts while I was at the game, Matt, because I'm sitting there, it's still a 1-goal game by that point. And I'm like, all right, listen, guys, I get it. You want Hagel to extend his point streak. Kuch doesn't like to score. You want Kuch to get the hat trick, but somebody shoot the puck, please, because it's a 1-goal game right now. But they eventually did get it, thankfully.
There's a couple of things I want to talk about in the game regarding penalties that were called, but keeping with the Kucherov theme for another moment, I brought a really crappy hat knowing that I was going to be getting one of the new ones. So when the netminder was pulled and Kucherov had it on his stick, I was just hoping to be able to toss that sucker out there and just like, please let me throw this extra hat onto the ice. And him missing the empty net and then it being an icing was a little tough to swallow there. And then him, I think, knowing the way he is, being a pass first type of guy, it's like he didn't want to shoot it a second time. He just kind of continued to pass the puck around rather than bury it himself there later in the shift.
He really did not want the hat trick for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because he tried and he missed, or he just doesn't want the hat trick on an.
He doesn't go for empty points.
Yeah, it was
take him.
It was really frustrating, man. You should have seen me on my couch. Shoot it, Kuch! Get the hat trick! I could only.
That's what I was saying in the stands.
I could only imagine what you were like in the stands. Probably that times 10. Like, oh man, but whatever. Still 4 points. I think. I know they took an assist away from him. He really should have had 5.
Well, he should have had 4. Yeah. It was a 3-point night.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, 3 points, and then the one. I mean, I kind of get it. It went off the boards.
Yeah.
He just dumped it in, but I don't know why they took that away. I guess because it was
Colorado
player.
It didn't go off a Colorado player. It was full on hit by Gerard.
Right.
So Kuch dumps it. Karam's out front. Gerard shoots it was trying to shoot it out of the crease area. But it hit point right in the chest and went into the net.
Boo, give Kuch the assist.
Well, I guess the team can appeal it and say that, he swung. He swung at it, but didn't have possession. So he just kind of tipped it, if you will. But it's already been a couple games and the stats aren't changed. So I don't think that's going to go their way.
Well, as we learned with the empty net goal, Kuch doesn't care about those empty points, so I'm not sure he's really worried about it either.
Yeah, true. I do want to talk about 2 plays in particular. One was the goal that went in on Vasi, where the puck, he makes a save, but it kind of trickles back behind him. The puck's loose. The ref's standing right over it and can see it clear as day. Actually, from my seats, I could see the puck sitting between him and the post.
Same.
Yeah, and then Lilleberg skates right past Vasi, doesn't turn back because it's a standard play. You got to play to the whistle, right? I mean, if you don't hear the whistle go, you got to turn back around. ABB is on his guy, the eventual goal scorer, who was maybe you can
Byram.
Byram scored it, right? And then
Colton got a point on that play.
You gotta take a penalty there, man. Hook him down, slash his stick into so he can't score. That's where you take a penalty, because it's, sitting behind your goaltender in a very dangerous spot. If you're ABB, you're going to get out muscled. So just hack his stick in half.
Joe, I also in attendance for that game. Same thing from my seat. I could see the puck squeezing through Vasilevsky, and I'm sitting there in the stands yelling, hold it. Just try. I mean, he's not going to hear me anytime. Also, I don't know if you heard this, but this is the second time this has happened now. Understandably so, but they started to play the little thunder sound, which they play after like a save, and Vasilevsky hold it. So for the second time now, somebody pushed the button a little bit too quickly. And obviously that's really hard to see, I'm sure, from their vantage point. And then a goal goes in. What is with that in the Amalie sound crew over there pushing those buttons a little bit too quick? But yeah, unfortunate there. Bass just has to hold on a little bit tighter. And Joe, you make a good point. Those are one of those good penalty, quote unquote, good penalties, as they say, to take there to try and, because you can prevent a goal there. They may score on the ensuing power play, but at least you still have a chance to keep that goal off the board.
Wait, so is that the big save sound? I thought it was like a lion's roar, not a thunder clap or something.
I think they might change it up every once in a while. They've been doing the thunder clap for a long, long time now.
No, bro, I swear it's like a lion or something, because it's the big cat making a save. I could be. Joe, any input?
No.
I would thought it was thunder. Hey, let us know down in the comments for anybody who's been to the game or was there. Let us know. Is it a cat roar or is it thunder? I've always thought it was thunder. Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
thought it was
I don't
thunder
know, though.
personally, but
Oh
yeah.
man.
Joe, you said there was another play that you wanted to mention as well?
Yeah, also Byram getting the initial goal of the game. And I didn't, watching this, I was looking at the defensive side. I didn't actually see this take place right at center ice, where Byram grabs Hagel's pants,
Yeah.
right at his belt, and just pulls him backwards and propels himself forward in order to get ahead of him, and thus springing himself for the backdoor play where he gets passed across the crease and then puts it into the net.
Shake and bake, baby. That's all it was.
Oh
Was
my
the
God.
old slingshot.
So that's a reference to ESPN Hockey posted on their Instagram page a short saying that 1,000 IQ play for this, and said that exact thing. Shake and bake hockey. It's 1,000 IQ play to pull him down from behind.
It's a funny play. I can laugh about it after the win. It's not 1,000. That's a very, very room temperature IQ play. If either official was looking at that, it's an instant 2 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I know why, because it's ESPN talking about hockey.
Well, I did make a comment, which I rarely do on stuff. I was like, well, that's ESPN says it's 1,000 IQ play because ESPN doesn't know hockey.
Yes.
Hey, at least they're talking about it at the very least,
That's true. But Hagel got furious over it, and rightfully so, because that should have been 2 minutes. He completely interfered with them in order to get ahead of them, and it's amazing that wasn't called.
I think Kuch was hot as well. I mean, so I didn't see it either, Joe. I just, the goal had happened, and then my brother who was with me at the game, he was telling me, he's like, look at Hagel on the end of the bench. He is furious. And then Coop, I believe, was yelling at the guys a little bit too. And then I later saw the replay on Twitter, and it was like, okay, yeah, that was clear as day. No wonder he was so upset, because nobody knew, I think, initially why he was so angry. It was like, well, it's just it's Brandon Hagel. He gets really passionate about these things. But that missed call, it happens. And Matt, like you said, looking back at it now, we can laugh about it because the Lightning ended up winning the game. But that could have been a much bigger situation there and could have really hurt the Lightning in the long run.
Certainly, that's not the only goal that should have been a penalty Colorado has scored on the Lightning, but I digress.
There's been a couple of those situations with the Lightning and Avalanche. But at the end of the day, the Lightning, they do get the win. By the way, Brandon Hagel, now on a 9-game point streak. He is hot as hot as you can get right now. So he's playing some fantastic hockey. He'll be looking to extend that as well. But let's get into our 3 stars of the week. We kind of threw away the Panthers game a little bit, but still took it into consideration. We'll kind of more focus on the big ones here. But starting off with our number 3 star, it's actually a guy that you would expect to be at number 1, Nikita Kucherov. Kucherov still had a fantastic week, 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 total points. He was only a -1 in a game where the Lightning let up 9 in this week. So Nikita Kucherov gets the 3rd star of the week, still doing Kucherov things, leading the NHL in points right now. Joe, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on the great magician, Nikita Kucherov?
Well, I mean, as I was saying in the previous game recap, this was a battle between McKinnon and Kucherov, and Kucherov came up on top. He now has 94 points to McKinnon's 91, and unlike previously in the season, McKinnon actually has an extra game played now at this point. So he's firmly in the lead when it comes to the points race, and it's great to see that when it's a big matchup like that where he's going head to head against them, he comes out on top, and it definitely is great for the number 3 star position there.
I think he gets a star just for that post game interview. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he was just as dry and blunt and boring as he could possibly be. He's perfectly Nikita Kucherov. He lets his talk. He does his talking on the ice, and this interview is just good. Yeah. Cool. Bye. It was just nothing special at all. And so many people were just up in arms about it. Like, this guy needs to fix his attitude. No, he doesn't need to fix anything he's doing.
Were there people upset about it? All I saw were
yeah.
Lightning fans going, "Oh yeah, classic Kuch. This is amazing. I love this." That's all.
It was either TSN or Sportsnet posted. Of course it was. But even somebody on Instagram where I saw the clip, they said their name was TBL11 or something. Sorry to give away your username, but even a Lightning fan, a clear Lightning fan, was very upset with Kucherov. Like, he needs to fix his attitude. No, he doesn't need to fix a darn thing. Whatever he is doing, keep doing that. Like, I know I'm going way too much into the post game interview, but my God, he had a fantastic week, and he just shows up where it matters. Let's skip the plus minus in the Panthers game and that game just entirely. But in the head to head, McKinnon versus Kucherov, man, I don't know if anybody wants to be the best player in the world more than Kucherov. You look at guys like Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid, they're very, very humble guys. I think Kucherov would straight up tell you, I want to be the best player in the world. Whereas if you ask the other guys, Crosby or McDavid, or say, I just want to help the team win. And yeah, I guess that's probably the right answer for the media and for the team. But I think Nikita Kucherov just wants to prove himself. What more does he have to prove? I don't quite know. But man, he just shows up when it matters and shows out against the second best player in the world currently, not named McDavid. And again, he just finds a way to get it done. He has chemistry with everybody who he's playing with. Him and Hagel were just, electric together in that Avalanche game. What more can I say?
Well, hey, Kucherov is also playing in his 700th game tonight against the Ottawa Senators. So congratulations to Kucherov. 700 games, and he's just continuing to find ways to absolutely amaze us, and that's why he gets the number 3 star. And then going to our number 2 star of the night, this is a guy who also had a great week, especially in the plus-minus category, and that is Victor Hedman, who gets the number 2 star of the week. Hedman, he only had 2 assists when it comes to the score sheet, but he was a +1 in a week, again, where the Lightning gave up 9 goals. And I believe it was the Colorado game where Hedman was a +5, which is the highest of his career, by the way. And he's only the 14th player in Lightning history to hit that mark on the plus-minus sheet. So Hedman with some great defensive play this week, and he gets the number 2 star. Matt, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on the Big Swede?
Honestly, I'm going to throw this over to Joe. I did not do my research for the Victor Hedman segment. I didn't see it when you guys sent it in the chat earlier, and I don't know. I not that I disagree with the Hedman pick or anything, but I didn't realize that he had as good of a week as he did have. So I'm a bit ill prepared for this segment. He didn't really stand out to me on my fantasy team. Here's me throwing that in. But he did help
long enough.
Don't worry, I got more. He did help me win this week, but I guess being +5, that's a lot. That is a very, very good stat. I know we don't like to put a whole lot of stock into plus minus, but to be +5 in a game where there's 6 goals and that's a pretty crazy stat in and of itself. What was his points, Jake? I'm sorry, I spaced out for that.
2 points. He had 2 assists this week.
Okay, I mean, get her done, Victor. I really did not come prepared for this one. Joe, take her away.
Well, I mean, honestly, you kind of covered enough on it. He played well defensively to be a -3 and getting an assist in the game that you lose 9 to. I'm not even going to look it up. I don't care.
That's pretty good.
It's not. It's not too bad. And he was clutch in that Colorado game. Like you said, +5 is huge, especially because it was a relatively close game for a good portion of it. 6-3, and you get +5. He was a big difference maker in that game, and between him and Kuch, that's what honestly secured the Lightning the victory there.
Fantastic job by Victor Hedman, and that's why he gets the number 2 star of the week. And going to our number 1 star of the week, he's a guy who's been on this list a couple of times. One of my favorite players right now for the Lightning, and it's Brandon Hagel. Hagel, we just mentioned him. He's on a 9-game point streak right now, a goal and 3 assists for 4 points, and was even in the plus and minus category. Guys, Hagel been unbelievable this year. He's even get some people to talk about how maybe he could be a future captain for the Lightning. He has been an unbelievable acquisition that the Lightning got and continuing to amaze us with his play. Joe, your thoughts on Brandon Hagel?
Well, like I said, I was at that Panthers game with my nephew, and the first goal he ever got to see in person was Was that
Brandon Hagel.
24 seconds in? Brandon Hagel scoring on his partial breakaway there. And then even, again, looking at the stats here, he still was only a -1 overall, even though he had 20 minutes of ice time. He was a -1 in the Florida game. So he was, I mean, all things considered, doing pretty well in that. And in that Colorado game, too, with his 2 assists, he was obviously is a guy that plays with a lot of passion. Even, talking about the penalty that wasn't called that ended up in an Avalanche goal, he was emphatic, yelling at the refs. It may have been a little bit of a bad look, but it really goes to show his heart that he has, that he plays when he's in the game. I mean, when he's in the game, he's in the game. He's someone that's going 110% and giving you all that effort, and this was a great week for him.
I'm swimming a little bit here because, Joe, you took everything I said. I was going to talk about the passion and the heart that he plays with. How much can we talk about, what he does, on the ice, but, with his actual skill. This dude is fully bought in. I don't know if we talk about that enough, but he is bought in. He is a bolt. He's a bolt for life, especially after this contract. Maybe not for life, but he is a bolt through and through. This dude loves to play hockey. He loves the game. It looks like he hates it sometimes, especially when he gets shook and baked on. But I don't know how to make that work. But this dude, he's just in every single game. And, him and Tony Cirelli, they are a very good line. They hit some speed bumps a few weeks back. I think this was pre-All-Star break. They weren't looking, I don't know, for whatever reason, unfortunate goals were going against them, but both those guys, and I not that I disagree with the Hedman star, but I think Tony Cirelli should have gotten some kind of praise. I thought he had a fantastic week, and him and Hagel playing together on the penalty kill at even strength. Both these guys are just, well, I'm making this one star about 2 people. Both these guys just gel. And, man, he's just got the energy, the passion, the heart to just be in every single game. He doesn't take nights off. He's got a wicked high motor. He's fast. What doesn't he do? And that's a very hard question.
Matt, I'll kind of do it for you here. Hey, Hagel, Cirelli, Paul, that whole line played, I thought, pretty darn good this week. And hopefully they can continue that. They're back in together as a line in the game tonight against the Ottawa Senators. And I'll throw this question to our listeners as well. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this as well. But who's more like Yanni Gourde, Brandon Hagel or Mikey Eyssimont? I think both those guys are very feisty, hard-working guys, just like Gourde was. But I don't know. They both kind of remind me of Yanni Gourde. Love to hear from your guys in the comments below. Let us know what your thoughts are on that one.
Can I put my 2 cents?
Do it, Matt.
I say Mikey Eyssimont. He's just got that fire. He's got the rage that Yanni has. Both of them play similarly, but it's that post whistle kind of things, or even
the drums.
Yeah, exactly. Starting stuff and finishing it as well. Like
starting scrums with a smile that goes ear to ear.
Yes, exactly. And just, he doesn't care if he's going up against, Zdeno Chara or even Andre the Giant. He'll be looking straight vertical up at somebody. Doesn't care. He's going to give you a whack in the shins or something. I just think,
that's true.
Nobody will be Yanni Gourde. It's still just amazing how much of a cult hero he is within this organization. And he's the comparison we always draw to because he is a legend here. But yeah, I got to give the nod to Mikey Eyssimont. But, it's a great problem to have this question.
That's very true. All right, so 3 stars, Kucherov, Hedman, and Hagel. Let's look ahead at the schedule upcoming here for the Lightning. Of course, tonight, as of this recording, the Lightning are taking on the Ottawa Senators in Kuch's 700th game. So congratulations again to him. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, the Bolts have a win in the books. But then they'll have 2 days off, and then they'll get set to take on the Washington Capitals for this final game of their homestand at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then on a back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday, they'll be taking on the New York Islanders and the New Jersey Devils. Now, here's the bad news for the Lightning in those games. Not that it's a back-to-back, not that they're both on the road, but the game times. These games are at 2 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Eastern. And as we know, sometimes the Lightning have a little bit of trouble when those games start before 7 p.m. So hopefully we don't have a repeat of that like we did earlier in the week. But guys, big games, especially when you look at the opponents here. The Islanders and the Devils are two teams that are right behind the Lightning in the wild card race. And you have the Ottawa Senators that are playing tonight, who's another divisional opponent. Actually, even Washington is behind them in the wild card race as well. So huge games when it comes to the standings for the Lightning this week.
This comment usually bites me. Very often it bites me, but they got no excuse to not walk out of this with 6 points. I mean, they definitely they absolutely have to beat Ottawa. I understand, they've had a bit of a rough season. They can show up when they want. They're a feisty team. You got no reason to lose to them. Are they at home are they on a homestand, Jake?
So home tonight against the Senators, and then home against the Capitals, and then on the road for that back-to-back in the Islanders and the Devils.
For the games that matter.
Okay. Oh, wow. We got 4 games this week. Okay. I missed the Capitals one. There was no reason. Okay. So I'm going to double down. There's no reason they should walk out of this week with no less than 8 points. These are all teams that are below them, literally below them. The only one that I'm really concerned about is the Devils. They're looking to climb their way back. I think the Lightning are really going to look for their retribution against the Islanders. That's going to be a game I have penciled in. They're going to want to redo their mistakes from last week. But again, there is no, I'll even give them a little bit of a pass. Throw in an OT win. They shouldn't walk away from this with less than 7 points.
Yeah, I mean, I actually kind of gave you a little bit of side eye when you said 6 points. Like, ooh, I mean, I think they should go for all 8 here for who they're playing against. And honestly, I do disagree a little bit. You said that there's no excuse, I guess, is what it should be for losing to the Ottawa Senators. But if they're going to lose to any team, that's the one that matters absolutely the least. You got to get those points away from the Devils and Islanders who you're actually competing with. And for once, looking at the wild card race where we're at, the Lightning are in control of their own destiny at this point because the Devils, 2 games behind the Lightning, are at 60 points, meaning that they could potentially have 64 once they catch up in games. But we have 65. And then the Islanders are even behind that. So we technically still have 1 point up on the Devils. And as long as we continue to bank those points and get those big matchup wins, the Lightning will be in, continue to hold the cards when it comes to the wild card race. And those are 2 p.m. game, you said? 2 p.m. and 1 p.m. Those are going to be the ones.
2 p.m.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, those are going to be the ones to watch. I see that the Thursday game with the Capitals is on ESPN, so that'll be awesome to listen to. And then TNT for the Sunday night game.
Yeah, might get a large dose of Alexander Ovechkin talk in the Wayne Gretzky gold race, but we'll have Nikita Kucherov to watch, and he can show Ovi how it's really done there. But
he always plays well against other Russians.
Absolutely. Listen, bid week for the Lightning. You guys said it. They're in a good spot now, better spot than they were a couple weeks ago. But after this week, they have a chance to be in a very good spot. They can really get these points here, especially, as you said it, Joe, against the Islanders and the Devils. Those are probably the 2 biggest games here, the Capitals as well. But right now, 1 game at a time. Guys, that's going to do it for us in this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. We'll be talking about all of these games and the trade deadline coming up. We'll see you guys in the next one. Go Bolts.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.